Okay, so I'm late to the party as usual. So we know Nicki Minaj and Kevin Samuels had a little conversation. And some people are trying to claim that Nicki Minaj called into Kevin Samuels' show. No, boo boo. She was having a live talking about her collab with Little Baby or whatever, some music stuff. And Kevin Samuels said, you know what? Nicki Minaj, I need to jump on her live. And he requested to jump on and she obliged him. And la. So, no, she did not go to his, she did not ask to go on his show to ask, you know, Kevin, should black men love me? No, that did not happen, guys. He jumped on her live. So he jumped on her show. So let's get that clear. It's been a few days, so everybody should know that by now. So they had an interesting conversation and I enjoyed it. And there were certain topics that I liked. I kind of sliced it up. I'm going to just play. And tell me what you think. So first off, we're just going to start from the beginning. I think Nicki was a little tipsy because she said so. Okay, I'm just going to play it.
I tried to add the person. It said Kevin R. Samuels.
Oh, I didn't know, man. All I heard was blood clots and shit.
So that's when she let him on her platform. So let's go. I'm not going to do it. You guys see the video. I'm just keeping this simple.
I'm old. People may not like my method, but I want to see more black men who want black wives.
So I spliced this encounter to things I thought was interesting. He said, he wants to see more black men with black women. I'm not getting that vibe. Maybe others are, but I don't. But let's continue.
Get with black women. And that's the outcome we're getting. It ain't pretty, though. Sometimes it ain't pretty.
Can I say something? Real quick? Black women, can we stop talking about if these niggas want us or not? Excuse me, Kevin. This is not. I'm talking to black women real quick. Can we stop Can we stop posting all day on TikTok? Because I newly went to TikTok and I just kept seeing this. Mm-hmm. Black women, can we stop talking about if these successful black men want us or not?
I get what she's saying. Because a lot of time, black women are just talking about, all these successful black men don't want black women. They want non-black women. And I'm at a point where I'm saying, okay, that's fine. Because I cannot be a non-black person. So why am I stressed about what successful black men want? It's not me. So why constantly talk about, they don't want black women? Okay. Then black women should not focus on these kind of men, in my opinion. Maybe focus on the kind of men that do want you. And there are enough men in the world, like we are really a minority, a lot of men in the world that would want us, who are successful. So don't focus on what successful black men want, especially if they tell you straight up, they don't care about your personality. They don't care anything about you except the fact that you're black. You're a black woman. Ugh, I don't want a black woman. What can you do with that? There's nothing you can do. So, move on, I guess.
Like, can we just focus on us and we be successful and then we go out there and we decide who the fuck we want? Because what I've been seeing is, I feel like I've been seeing men using that as an opportunity because they've been hurt and somebody done went something to them, and they've been using it as a way to come out and lash out and poke fun at black women and use it as a way to feel like they somebody or they something. Or so for all you niggas that's doing that on TikTok or wherever the fuck y'all at, eat a dick, go away. Nobody gives a shit about you. And I want black women to stop fucking posting about whether or not y'all want black women or not. Okay? Well, I want black women just to focus on themselves, be successful, and then you go out there and you decide the trajectory of your life.
Fair. Because, black men are talking about they need to focus on themselves and what they need to do for their lives. I think it makes sense for black women to do the same and focus on themselves and do what they need to do to make themselves happy or whatever. And if a man says they can't be happy with you because you're black, then don't sweat it. Just say okay and do what you need to do and focus on people who see you for you and see beyond your race or whatever. Do what makes you happy. Focus on yourself, and the right person will see you for you. People who see you that you're black and you don't like you because you're black, there's nothing you can do, ladies. There's nothing you can do. All they see is that you're black. That's all they see. So just be in a good space, and if someone likes you for you, that's who you should deal with. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Don't care about race, because there are people who only focus on your race and they don't see you. So those who do that, fuck them. Don't even entertain them, Just carry on.
Okay?
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of hurt on both sides, and especially in the black community, we don't really do a lot with counseling, therapy. I recommend therapy often because we got a lot of stuff individually that we want to deal with. And marriage and relationships are not for everybody. And I'm just trying to, ultimately I ask people, what do you want? What do you want? And what are you prepared to do to get what you want? And are you willing to pay that cost? It's really the conversation, but it always gets kind of whittled down.
That's the thing. What do you want? And you're going to pay the price or whatever. Why is it so complicated? But I guess it is. It shouldn't be complicated. Do you want to be married and have children? Find someone who wants to be married and have children. You just want to hook up? Find someone who wants to hook up. But there's a lot of people who are confused at what they want. That's why it's complicated. They want to hook up, but then they find someone that's kind of cool that they would actually settle down with. But that person, like, didn't you want to just hook up? I don't know. It's complicated. But it should be simple.
But at the end of the day, what we are seeing is, especially if you're under 30, it's harder for guys today under 30 than it was from 50 years ago, because you can't take care of a family on out of high school or just coming out. So they're at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And I just had men's week, and I told guys, look, while you're under 30, work on getting yourself together, because like it or not, you're really not in a position like you should be to be able to work with, lead, do anything like that. And
that's the thing, a lot of these men want traditional women. But if you want a traditional woman, she's looking at you as a traditional man. And this day and age, a lot of men cannot be traditional because they can't afford to be traditional. But they're still looking at women like, well, I know I can't be traditional for you, but you should be traditional for me. It doesn't vibe. The conversation breaks down after that, I know I can't be your soul provider, but I need you to be my soul nurturer. Eh.
You see the hate, not the hate, but the hurt on both sides, because a lot of times people will use these talking points to go at and poke women over here, but that's not what's going on right now. This year we're past the sound. I mean, we still laugh, we still do all that stuff. We're talking about self-awareness.
You heard him. This year's about self-awareness, not poking at women. Let's see.
And moving the needle. I'm in LA tomorrow talking with a famous sexologist, a womanist feminist, to talk about things that I may not, that people on my side may not understand, to further open the conversation up. Because that's what we have to get to. We got to end up, for whoever want to be involved with whoever, we got to end up having a better conversation, because while we're separate, fighting, everybody else just eats off of us.
Now,
When we're separate and fighting, all of us eat off of us. It's interesting that he says that when he constantly separates us. But it's about money, you know. Sad to say. The more we separate ourselves and fight amongst each other, the more each of us makes. But that's the thing. He says one thing and does another, so that's why I can't really. But hey, whatever.
you think a man can
Oh, this is a different topic. Now it's about sex.
have sex 3 times a night for the rest of his life?
Those guys can't.
They can't.
Not for the rest of his life, no.
Well, how many times they?
Yeah, men are so. I understand men are sexual, but they act like, yo, I have to have sex all the time, every time, until the day I die. Y'all hit a wall too when it comes to sex, right? When it comes to sex, you hit a wall as well. Okay. And older women are more sexually driven than younger women. But you guys, when you're older, your sex drive is low, while her sex drive is high. Anyway.
Gonna be able to do it.
It's how much he's working. If it's how much he's working, that's why I say it's different on.
But wait, listen, no. Listen, hold on. How many times should a man expect to have sex? What is, in your opinion, how many times should a woman give their man sex a week?
A week?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of the as often as he wants it.
No, hold on.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
How often he wants it? Even if she's tired or sad or that's kind of selfish, no? I think it's more about as much time as they want it, as we want it. Because sometimes he might not be in the mood either, you know? Or she might like to say as much time as the man wants. Some selfish shit. I feel like as much as they want. Mutual, whatever. But that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think so.
You look at, like I said, I look at guys, most guys I'm talking to are working 10, 12-hour days. Bernie Mac said it, I'm going to come home and give you 50 strokes. You count them if you ain't got time. Most dudes trying to walk around like they porn stars. Look here, man. Get good at foreplay, eat some pussy, and get on. Because we going to have all that time. We get old.
Foreplay and
our back hurt, our hips out.
Oh, no.
He acknowledges that older men, the back hurts, things, y'all not as viral as you claim to be when you get old. Like, when you get older as a man, it's not as easy to Y'all not listening to this man. I am, but y'all not.
You get older, but I think a healthy sex life 2 to 3 times a week is what most people are doing because they got kids.
Yes, no, I
Yeah, I agree. 2 to 3 times a week is reasonable, especially if you have a lot going on. You're ambitious, you're working, you have children, blah, blah, blah. Makes sense. Like every day, every day. Stop.
But when you're single, no kids, whenever you want to.
yeah. Well,
She's like, I don't know about that one.
no, I understand because yes, things change when you have to be looking at your baby, and a lot of I get it. I totally get it. 'Cause I remember people would tell me I shouldn't expect as a woman to have a climax every time I do it, right?
This was my favorite part. There are men that have told me, I don't care about you having pleasure. I don't care if you climax. It's not my job as a man to make sure you're feeling good. You need to figure out in between the time I encounter you and the time I come, you have to do some kind of weird whatever. Figure out how to make you come by doing something to basically I don't give a fuck about you and your pleasure. And I'm like, really? The only pleasure you get out of sex should be the fact that you're pleasuring me. And I'm like, what? And they're serious. They're serious. They don't give a damn about a woman's pleasure. And it has the same mentality of these countries who vaginal mutilation. They just cut off the part of a woman who that's primarily for pleasure because they hate the idea of a woman having pleasure. And some men do. They hate the idea of a woman having pleasure. Their pleasure should be that they are pleasuring their man. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. But realistically, if you're having sex, both of you, men and women, take pleasure in pleasuring each other. But if you're saying as a man, you don't give a fuck about my pleasure, wow. But let me play this.
Mike Hilton. And I said, excuse me, are you out of your fucking mind? Why wouldn't I want to climax every time I have intercourse? Just like you want to climax when you have intercourse. And I was accused of being like a man. Not in my, this is years ago. And I knew that wasn't going to work, child. Because it's not only about you.
Well,
you think about that.
Well, so when I go to LA, I'll be talking to sexologists. Shampoo Dream, Shampoo. There's a lot that men don't understand about sexuality. Most guys, you ask them what the Kama Sutra is, they don't know what it is. They don't know anything about tantric sex. They don't even know that. You couldn't even show them the anatomy of a vagina and they can understand the parts. Just weren't taught. So,
This is some factual stuff right now. Some men don't even care. What's that? No, I don't care. Let me just come and leave you alone.
If you know what you're doing, you're supposed. Yes, you should have as much orgasm. You should. You're multi-orgasmic. You can have more than we can.
That's right.
So the point is that I think that was part of the purpose of going down there to have this conversation because women's sexuality is so misunderstood by men. So a lot of guys make comments about women and not knowing, and they make decisions based on women. And I say ultimately this: if you ain't getting married, what the fuck you care about a woman's body count and who she fucking? If you ain't gonna take ownership of it, and if it's yours, you need to learn what to do.
And that's the thing, a lot of men just say, I care about body count and all that stuff like that. And even Kevin, if you're a Kevin Samuels fan, he's talking about ownership. If you're not going to say this woman is yours, why do you care about her body count? If you're going to pump and dump on whatever some of you men like to do, who cares about the body count? Who cares? You don't want to take ownership of this woman at all. So, Shut up.
Here's the thing: there's ownership, and then there's dating. We do a lot to disqualify one another, and we got enough stuff already disqualifying us. So,
Oh, right. To put women down.
yeah, I mean, or to discount men too. And I'm like, well, in the context of a
Yeah, we put each other down, so yeah.
relationship, it's different than people who are out here just hooking up. If you're gonna just be out here hooking up, you need to be. I would assume you would want to have a good sexual reputation. You want to be a dead layer or a weak fuck. That's not a good look.
And that's a good point. There's people who just say they want to pump and dump and just have a lot of sexual partners and sleep around. But if you're not good at it, how can you sleep around? Your reputation precedes you. If you're good at sexual things, then people might want to hook up with you. But if you're not good at it, I mean, get good at it. Like, if you don't care about how a woman feels and how she experienced the sex or whatever, you're not going to be a good hookup person. Because why hook up with someone that doesn't know how to give you pleasure, doesn't make the experience good? They're selfish. How does that work? But yeah. So I agree with him on that.
No.
People like, I'm so lost.
No, I'm not lost.
No, I'm talking about people in the comments.
I want to put it on. I want to put it on the person.
Ooh.
I don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, I've seen the videos.
So yeah, at the end she's like, I want to put on a person. He's like, yeah, I see the videos. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I think this conversation was actually good. It was very cordial. I find like he's very cordial to celebrities or people who has some status. When it's an average woman or especially an average black woman or whatever, like, he's not as cordial, you know. Nicki has some opinions. He's like, okay, I hear you. And he listens. But it's not his show, so it's different. If it's his show, even if she called in, I think he'd treat her with more respect than he would an average woman. So I enjoyed this conversation, certain talking points that came up, especially when men are talking about, oh, I don't care if you don't enjoy sex. That's your business. I'm going to try to get mine. And within that time, you need to get yours somehow. Use me as some human dildo and figure out how to maneuver while I'm doing what I got to do. It's like weird. But, you know, Kevin Samuel says this year is going to be different. It's about self-reflection. We'll see. He's talking to a sex coach that's dealing with women to talk about women's sexuality, because men don't know nothing about it, nor do they care. They think it's all about them, and women should just like enjoying having sex because they're pleasing their man and they don't have to get pleasure at all. It's the same kind of mentality that vaginal, mutilation happens. I don't need you to have pleasure. Just make sure I have pleasure kind of mentality. But I found the conversation interesting. I'm probably going on too long, but I'm saying what I'm saying. What do you guys think about all this? You have any opinions about the different points I was talking about? You agree with me? You don't agree with me? Talk to me. All right, that's what I have to say. So bye.